Good, whatever time of day it is you happen to be listening. This is the P&A Podcast Express, brought to you by the Palm Street Studio.
So how's
Why
it going?
not? It's going great. He's Adam Filkins. I'm Phil Nickel. Another wonderful Wednesday episode of the P&A Podcast Express. As I said, recorded here at the Palm Street Studio, brought to you by Big Podcast.
There you go.
Brought to you by...
You said wonderful episode. That might be a stretch.
Oh, jeez. Another subpar to mediocre episode brought to you by...
Yes.
Yeah, why not? I like it. So
We'll
what's
take it.
what's happening? What's going on?
You know, there's stuff and things.
There are things and stuffs.
Yes.
So what are we gonna? We let it all out on the Tuesday episode. I feel like
Probably.
I feel better. Do you feel better?
Oh, feel great.
Right.
So I would like to remind everybody, give us a call. It's right there. Yeah, Phil's on it. Right there. 810-294-0455. Give us a call. Shoot us a text message if you're microphone shy or anything like that. And yeah,
Do we get emails or text messages or anything anymore? Or?
we do.
Okay.
Not so much on the emails.
Oh, okay.
But when's the last time? It's been 100 episodes since we promoted the email.
P&A Podcast Express at gmail.com or pineapple nipple arsehole at gmail.com.
Yes.
There we go.
At one point, we had about 7. I've gotten rid of a good portion of them.
Well, I was on a roll there for like, that's a great idea. That's it. Cue the voiceover. It was not a great idea.
It was not a great idea.
In my mind, it was.
I did just let Glory Hole Cowboy at Gmail go. Oh. Yeah.
That was probably tough to do, wasn't it?
It was, seeing as how he's forsaken us.
We miss you, bud. Jesus, come back to us.
Yeah.
Not Jesus, but Glory Hole Cowboy.
Yes.
I realized today I have a bunch of stuff I have to hang in the studio, and I have not because I've been lazy. But we've talked about a television plan, too, that I want to enact. So that way we can watch some sports
Yes.
while we're doing the podcast. Because, you know, if anything, like, we need more distractions. Don't you feel that way, like, when we're podcasting?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the whole thing's a distraction if you think about it.
I'm very distracted
I can tell. It's okay.
most of the time.
Who's Bluetoothed in? We might have to make some phone calls here.
I think you are. But is it your computer?
It's not my phone.
It's not my phone.
Well, let's see. Let's take a look-see here. I am on, and I am paired.
Your computer?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, we can't make a call from that.
So I will unpair.
I was actually going to tell you, for some reason, I have in my head the Schneeberger's. Schneeberger.
Well, let's play that. It's been a while.
It has been. I'm fiending for it.
All right, so let's turn this off, sees, and let's do this. You know, this could have been an email. Just stand by for news. Bluetooth BTA. Now I gotta find that Schneeberger's thing. It's in here somewhere. Do 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 do.
So we haven't even played anything yet.
Uh-huh.
And it said your video is muted in certain countries where Meta does not have music rights.
What?
For our theme that I made?
What countries are these?
Oh, dear
That's
Lord.
absurd.
So let us know if we're muted. You can't hear us. I'll throw it in chat.
Let us know if we're muted.
Oh, dear Lord. That's all right. We'll keep going, I
We'll
guess.
power through on this. We're going to be okay here, or we're going to try to be okay.
I feel all right about it. If people can't hear us, we might get more listeners.
What was this one? Hold on. This might be okay. It might not be.
There's the snap. Jared on the end around gives it to Amon-Ra. He's going to throw it to Jared. It's on the 5 to the end zone. Jared Goff. Oh, baby, on the receiving end of a pass from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, Ben Johnson, I see you too. That is beautiful stuff.
Huh, that was interesting.
He went to Jared.
He went to Jared. Stop it. All right, let's see.
Oh, you're really slow. I don't mean like slow at bringing that up.
Come into Schneeberger. Come into Schneeberger.
All sizes. We have it all. We have it all. We have it all. That's right. Schneeberger.
Schneeberger's in Cass City is open for business.
That's right. Schneeberger's in Cass City. Rusty Schneeberger has stepped up and running the store. Stop at Schneeberger's of Cass City and say,
let's all go Schneeberger Superstore.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's nice, isn't it?
On that hilt, I have this one.
Okay.
Rototiller guy. Rototiller guy. You don't need listeners like that. Rototiller guy. You don't need listeners like that. Rototiller guy. Goes behind the John Deere. Rototiller guy. Behind the John Deere. Rototiller guy. Goes behind the John Deere. Rototiller guy. You don't need listeners like that. My rear end shoot off. You don't need listeners like that. Goes behind the John Deere. You don't need listeners like that. It's the Rototiller guy. It's the Rototiller guy. Goes behind the John Deere. It's the Rototiller guy. You don't need listeners like that.
That was very nice. Very nice.
That was beautiful.
Well,
That's a couple blasts from the past there, I guess.
that's a great way to
Segue into something?
well to start off the episode.
Start the kicking it old school.
I don't have a segue. I don't.
Wait, segue means we have something else prepared.
Oh, I thought it was one of those things you ride around on.
The CEO of Segway died on a Segway because he ran off a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good segue for you.
If it would have had AI, he'd have made it. Get your segue with AI.
Oh shit!
Do you think they should maybe have built one and been like, now with cliff detection?
Now with cliff detection. I think so.
And brakes.
And brakes. Those are the brakes. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Anita Vaughn,
Oh,
the very first woman to ever hold the WXW Shotgun Champion.
there we go.
What is that from?
Well, I don't know. I was bringing up the game because you wanted to watch it, and
And all the houses.
this is what it started out with.
Definitely feel it.
It's the WXW World Tag Team Festival Night 3.
Nice.
Wow, dude, this is like a wrestling promotion that looks like it's in your living room.
That's beautiful.
It is tiny. Look, hopefully they go to a widescreen shot again. It is not in a very big place. They've got to hurry up and clean up because they got a wedding reception coming in after this.
Oh, that's special. That's definitely special.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Boy.
What's the game on tonight?
It's on Peacock or NBC. He said cock.
Either one. I can go to either one.
Yeah, Peacock or NBC. It's on downstairs. I just left it on. There's nobody down there, and I have no animals in my house. I used to at least say I left it on for the cat, but so it's just playing to an empty audience.
We're gonna watch it out of an Arkansas.
Oh, beautiful! An Arkansas
Channel.
affiliate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they.
Oh, Arkansas is going to get some stuff. It's delayed right now. They said it's delayed.
They got some shit going on down at the game.
There's some shit in the Pittsburgh area.
It's the pits.
We are currently in a weather delay until further notice. Fans in the stadium can remain in the seating bowl. We will provide updates as we receive them.
It's a different kind of... Oh, look at the lightning going on there.
Kapow, bitches.
I would bring that up on the screen, but I do not want to violate NFL rules.
No.
We don't need trouble like that.
You don't need trouble like that.
So, how's it going?
We may be big podcast, but we do not have we do not have the largesse to take on the NFL.
You don't need listeners like that.
So what's new or exciting? I don't know. I'm trying to think about it.
It's got nothing to do with me. Okay.
I said at work the other day, the HR guy poked his head in and I said, "What now?" And he said, "I just want to remind you, you have 2 weeks of vacation you have to use or lose by the end of the year, and there's only 12 weeks left in the year." And I said, "That's the happy thought of the day right there."
Yes, it is.
When there's only 12 weeks left in the year and you've got 2 weeks of vacation left to use.
So
Yeah.
do they pay you for it if they...
Nope. You
No?
just use it or lose it. So you damn well sure I'm going to use it.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going to start taking some Fridays off here. Then around Christmas time, I'll probably take a week right there too. So that'll eat up a week of it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Hell yeah, fool.
That is never a bad spot to be in. My HR guy came in and said, you have 2 weeks of work left for the year.
Very nice.
Wait, no, he didn't even say that.
He says, "Why work?"
He's like, "Hey, don't you need a nap?" And I was like, "Yes, self," because I'm my own HR
Yes,
guy.
self, I do need a nap.
How did you know?
It's like you're inside of my brain.
Oh, boy. Napping has become a thing.
I fucking love nap. Well, you know, have I ever shied away from that the whole time we've been doing this podcast that I'm a napper? I nap.
Yeah, no.
I fucking nap every day after work. Almost.
Well, there's times when I've been like, "Oh, should I get there at this time?" You're like, "No, I'm getting a nap."
I'm not afraid to put that out there, and I will. I'm like,
I respect it.
and I
respect the
like,
hell
can
out
you
of
come
that.
like 15 minutes later than that so I can get a solid half hour in, right?
Well, the thing is, if you don't get your nap, you are such a asshole.
Is that nap dependent?
Ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, that too.
I'm gonna grab my other drink.
You can grab your other drink. I'll keep the kids entertained for a minute here. So, I guess as far as things go lately, I've got no complaints other than the ones I aired on the Tuesday episode, if you listen to it. But as far as right now, nothing terrible. So, really, I don't have a gear grind or a new one for this episode. Seems like all our gear grinds very lately, though, not all of them, but I would say 80% of them are very centralized to one common theme, and that's what's going on in the town of Sandusky right now. Am I wrong on that?
No, it is so bad. So bad. I mean, it has been so poorly thought out. And I understand that not every decision was on the city, but a good portion of them were, whether they want to admit it or not. A good portion of these decisions were on the city, and I just feel like they totally screwed them up.
Just totally dropped the ball.
And for everybody else who's pissed about it out there, because I am not in the city limits, if you want that stuff to change, go out there and vote for it.
What a novel goddamn concept.
Huh.
This is totally new information.
Yeah, you can do that.
You can choose
Well,
who leads things.
I don't know about that.
Don't say this bullshit about I feel like my vote doesn't count and blah, 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 blah. As P. Diddy once said, vote or die.
Oh, I think we lost our video feed on the game up there.
Oh, I thought you meant on Facebook Live. We are on Facebook Live again, right?
We are.
Okay. But remember when Diddy said that, vote or die, and then he didn't vote?
Yeah.
So he probably should have just died compared to where he's at now.
Well, maybe this will give him the available time to vote.
You think he'll have the time now? He's probably looking forward to it. He's probably like,
Yeah, I'm going to vote the hell out of this motherfucker.
oh, shit, man. Vote early and vote often. Chicago style, bitches. Jeez. What is going on with Diddy right now? Have we heard?
Well, I think he's off suicide watch
Well, that's good.
because it probably brought so much attention to what was going on that they're like,
That there's no way he could suicide himself?
yeah, we better not do that this time.
Because he's like, there's no way I can suicide myself now.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the things. I'm just going to put this out there. Diddy did not kill himself.
Yes.
The preemptive.
Diddy did not diddle himself. You know, so the seats, I announced the football game at Sandusky on Friday.
I was just going to ask you about that.
And it went well. I feel I did an adequate job. I was rusty. I hadn't done it in a while, but I had a good time with it, and it was fun. And but they have terrible little like stools up there.
Look at this. Oh,
And
some of this wonderful food. Once again, the Grumpy Griller comes through.
holy cow!
I'll set this right here.
I wonder why our visitors or why our viewers went down by one.
So they have these tiny seats. Yeah,
So
that's hilarious, but true.
they have these tiny. Well, they're not tiny. They're just a horrible stool. They're a very uneven wood. They're very old.
Right.
It's like a 2.5 inch thick slab of wood on top, and it's supposed to be curved, but now it's just kind of, I'm sure it's gotten
Now it's weighty.
wet and just from years of people's asses just grinding on them.
Just asses just condensating on them.
So I stood up off of that thing and I was like, oh boy. And I said to one of the guys up there, I'm like, man, I feel like I was just at a party with P. Diddy and Bill Cosby.
How did that play in the press box?
Oh, pretty well.
It
Yeah.
got some laughs.
Yeah, it was the right crowd.
Jesus Christ. So I went to Friday night. That's actually a good lead into this. I went to Friday night. I went to see my son play in the band at Bay City John Glenn.
Yeah.
And so I went to Bay City. I was delighted when I walked up and found out they were playing Frankenmuth. So I'm like, well, at least this will be interesting to see Frankenmuth because I heard they're in their division. They're like the top team in the state. How that is, I don't know.
Really?
That is one of the most undisciplined football games I've ever seen.
pretty diluted now.
But it is. But both teams had, both schools are big. They don't have a personnel coach because both teams got flagged for too many men on the field twice each, and more than a half a dozen occasions between both teams where they yell into the sidelines because they only had 10 players on the field.
What are they? Are they Division III?
Yeah, I think 3 and 4, yeah. Like, how does this happen in that size of schools? I remember one time we got flagged for too many men on the field, and we ran for a month for it because how do you fuck up the personnel like that? Everyone knows where they need to be.
Yeah.
And also, maybe 3 times in my whole high school career do I remember yelling, we only got 10 people on the field.
Well, I was just going to say, that should be more common than having that extra guy.
Right.
That guy who's like, well, I never played, but I should go out there now.
Right.
But
I saw this, and then just sloppiness. I don't know if Frankenmuth was trying to prove something or not, but, like, there was a kickoff return, and they just blatantly, they got a personal foul for it, but just a couple blocks to the back that were bad. Like,
really?
I mean, it was terrible discipline unless they were trying to do that and send a message. But Bay City John Glenn is pretty non-threatening. They've had some pretty terrible years lately. So,
how'd they look this year? Because I thought you said they
looked a lot better. I thought it was actually going to be a game, and I wasn't impressed with Frankenmuth because at halftime it was 21-13, and it was a dogfight. But then Frankenmuth came out the second half and ended up 41-13. So
somebody got their ass chewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but even the coaching, and one of the former Croslexa coaches head coaches is on the staff at Bay City John Glenn. And when I saw his teams play, it's totally different than watching this John Glenn team play. Like, just something's amiss. Like, poorly coached is the best way I can say it. Just poorly coached. And players, too, I don't know. And the lady beside me was like, oh, guys are so small. Guys get injured left and right. Frankenmuth had 0 injuries on the night. Bay City John Glenn probably had 15 stoppages for player injuries. And the one time, one guy laid on the field like he was dead. He didn't even move. And I'm sitting here going, this is fucking serious. Everybody raced out there. Then he's on the sidelines walking around, and 3 plays later, he was back in. I'm like, if you were to lay on the field like that when I played, You better be dead or you're going to be dead.
So
You get the fuck up off the field.
this is the sharp contrast between there and watching Lakers. Lakers had a guy go down. I have never seen more players like just walk around a guy that's laying on the ground. They just walked over him. They were stepping over him to go back to the huddle. The coaches come out so slow.
Right.
Like, just don't give a shit. And then the one coach gets out there and he just kind of kicks him in the foot.
Yeah.
And he had a leg cramp, and maybe this is a common thing with him. And they're just like,
It's such a pussy thing.
so they start.
Get off, if you're cramping up, get up and get off the field and stretch out on the sidelines. I say this, and I'll even say this during my broadcast. Don't lay on the field, and I can't say like a pussy on a broadcast, but
No, well, you could on the ones you do.
But just
I'm surprised you don't get somebody else to say.
when I used to, do my bidding. When I used to play, you wore that like a badge of honor. You weren't going to lay on that field unless you were pretty much dead or that bone was broken in half.
Oh, yeah. I can remember watching. We had one guy come running off the field, and the coach is like, I didn't tell you to come out. He's got blood running. He got smacked in the head, and his face mask came back and hit him in the nose and broke his nose up. And he literally, he was a wrestler. He stuffs cotton up there, stuffs some gauze up there, and he went right back out on the field the next play. And, I don't. It's not one of those things where I'm going to say, oh, kids aren't as tough as they used to be, but they're not. That was the type of stuff
We had a kid. This kid broke his femur on the field, laid there, had to get carted off by the ambulance because I think it was a compound fracture too. Like I think it poked through. And the next week at school, he apologized to all of us for not getting off the field. We're like, dude, you fucking broke your femur. That's okay to lay on the field.
Yeah. That is called literally leaving it all on the field, including your blood.
Right.
But I'll go back to this. I think it comes back to kids are not out there banging themselves up on a daily where, I think it's why we see way more concussions.
Right.
A concussion when I was a kid was a big deal. They never happened. It didn't seem like anybody ever got a concussion.
I got one in all of my years of football in high school, and that was my fault. But I played the rest of the game. Don't remember it. Played the rest of the game.
I had one when I was in high school, and again, I don't remember it either. I literally woke up at 10 o'clock in the gym with the athletic director shining a flashlight in my eyes. He's like, what are you doing in here? Everybody's gone.
You're like,
and I told him I didn't know where my car was. I said, I think my parents have got to pick me up. I don't know where my car was. He's like, I know where your car is. And yeah, your parents left a long time ago. So, I think we better call them. And I'm like, okay.
okay.
So, but I also got dropped from about 7 foot high in the air.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a totally different thing
there
now.
You go.
Kids aren't out there getting conditioned to take a hit, to take a bruise, to get banged up.
We beat the tar out of each other every single goddamn day in practice.
We used to go and play football on Friday night, and on Saturday and Sunday we were out playing football in the yard with all the kids in the neighborhood, and that was the roughest game on the planet.
Oh Jesus, that was one of my concussions, was playing yard football in.
Did you ever go and play Watertown football?
I did.
Oh, that was ugly stuff.
You keep your head up, that's for sure.
If the UFC and like backyard football could be combined, that was Watertown football.
That's the one place you did not want to show weakness.
No.
Here's a fun little fact. I cracked my skull, and I still don't know when I did it.
You cracked your skull?
I had my ear surgery done, and he's like, did you know at some point in time you cracked your skull? And
Was it during the Grumpy Grillers joined us? Was it during Watertown football?
No, I never played Watertown football.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He brought us food, and now he's joined the podcast.
Yeah,
I like it.
What a beautiful thing.
And I love our viewers went down by one.
Well, I can see these things.
He's like, I see such things.
I can see both the YouTube and the.
But yeah, not to harp on. I mean, Bay City John Glenn's better than they were the year prior, but The one kid I didn't get it though. Like twice he like feigned injury, then he was on the sidelines. Seemed like he was just fine, and he went back in.
You know,
is it for
Sure.
attention or something? Or
I don't know.
really blew my mind.
I mean, I can see, you get the wind knocked out of you. You take a good
That
hit.
does happen, yeah.
You take a good hit, and you're like, I got to come out for a second because maybe your leg is about ready to cramp. And at that point, you're a detriment to your team. You should come out.
Right.
But, yeah, there just seems to be a lot of...
That's why it's painful to do those early season games when it's really hot out. Guys will literally, what game was it? I don't remember, but the one kid like 3 or 4 times had to have people out there stretching him out, and I'm like,
Yep.
get off the goddamn field.
Well, and that's a kid who never made it to one conditioning
Yeah.
the entire summer.
I guess so. Is that what it is? They haven't conditioned properly is why they cramp up? I never cramped up in my whole time ever playing. I don't ever remember that having to be like, I never had anybody stretch me out. I'd feel like a failure if I had to sit there and some coach had to come out and like stretch me out. Like,
Which one is the one I want up here?
you want the hit the road Nickelback,
Which one?
right? One more over, right there.
Oh, yeah. We'll,
It's there. I ruined it. So
oh, yeah, these are good, too.
should be pretty good.
Oh, that's why that won't work. Let's go over and
This,
we'll get us off of the sports rant. with
yeah,
some,
yeah. It's not a sports podcast.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Get out of here, Nickelback.
His aren't usually all that long. This one's actually kind of long.
Sorry, hit the road, Nickelback.
Oh, Lord. Ray Kroger. Chad Charles. These guys who do this stuff have such a vision for it.
I know.
Absolutely amazing.
They must either have a natural talent for it or know some musical theory, you know?
Yeah.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Probably the best one I've.
Yeah. That one wasn't bad, even though
One last week was pretty good too.
I don't like Nickelback, but that one was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Well,
I figured with you not liking Nickelback, that would be an okay one.
We're not ever give you the shirt.
No, the Nickelback shirt, yeah. I've been bequeathed the Nickelback concert t-shirt, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Certainly can't wait for that.
Congratulations.
Well, Greg will certainly look forward to that.
Oh, boy.
This game's still in the NFL Sunday night game still in a weather delay.
So, I mean, NFL games aren't something you can just easily make up. Oh, my God.
Well, what kind of weather are they having? I thought
Lightning.
All getting canceled.
Lots of lightning.
Well, leather's not conductive.
Yeah, but whatever they're using those carbon fiber mongoloid helmets, they're probably pretty conductive.
That was another thing, too. Bay City John Glenn, beautiful facility. They have turf. They have play clocks.
Right.
They have everything. They also have those helmets that blew my mind. It's the first time I've seen them live, like in person. The ones that don't have the bars up top anymore, just the bars down here. And they really fuck with your perspective when you're used to seeing the face mask bars go all the way around.
Yeah.
but they've got that new design helmet that just has them. Yeah.
Huh.
They had some of those, and I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
Did they have the extra like padding on the top of them and everything?
No, they didn't have. Didn't see anybody wearing those, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to look those helmets up because I've heard about them, but I have not seen them yet.
Yeah, so they're, you know how the traditional face mask always went all the way around the whole thing, like a bar
Yeah.
up top and everything. These just have the bars that come up to basically above the cheeks and then nothing up top.
Huh.
It's crazy to see.
So it probably looks really weird.
It does when you're not
Like
yeah.
a softball helmet, you know.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of the best way to put it. Like it's like the ones the softball players wear that have the
Maybe they're the same. Maybe bucket cuts.
perhaps. Well, that was a deep burp right there.
Yeah. That was
I haven't
quality.
eaten any of this food yet, even. And,
No.
and I smell it. I'm like, over here. I'm like,
I wasn't hungry at all, but I am now.
I wasn't hungry.
Seriously, I'm sitting here going, well, how much time?
God
how far do
damn it! We
go?
still gotta go. We still gotta talk more on this episode.
Oh,
This is a terrible predicament.
yeah, I don't like it.
I got another beer here though, so
Well, there you go. See, everything's coming up roses.
I guess so. Big podcast has really bequeathed a lot upon me.
Oh yeah, that was a selling point for somebody that I talked about having it here in the studio. I'm like, there's a fridge full of beer.
Yeah, and they like that.
They did appreciate that idea.
They're like, we have a fridge full of beer. Don't cost nothing.
Yeah. So it won't be full after, but
That's all right. That's all right. There's still a bunch of Bunny's frozen custard up in the freezer too.
well, that was a lot.
It was a big bucket.
We've eaten twice off of that,
I know.
and it's still there.
There's still plenty there. We probably should finish that before it.
We should auction that off because they're closed now until next spring. So some addict is out there, you know.
Maybe we should wait a couple weeks.
Some addicts out there goes,
Just fiending like,
need my fix.
I need some Bunny's frozen custard.
I've never
I'm like-
actually had it.
Lodi B.
You've never
We can
had it?
hook you up.
Oh, it is phenomenal.
We got a bucket full of it in the old freezer.
I do
over
have to admit the refro, like the frozen in the freezer, is not as good as
No, the
out of the
refroze, because when it comes to you live from their little stand,
it's so smooth.
and it's not cold. It's cold,
No.
but it's not cold. It's not like
You could down
you
that
can
whole
eat
thing.
it so it won't brain freeze you. Like you can eat it as fast as you want.
To me, it's kind of
It's
like
velvet.
it's a heavily refrigerated buttercream frosting.
Well, how's it compared to Culver's?
Oh, it's better than Culver's.
Well,
I don't think I've ever had Culver's. I've had
Culver's
their
is
burgers. I've
good.
never had their
Culver's is good.
Their
but
frozen
this
custard.
is better. I don't think I've ever had an ice cream that compares to it, especially a soft serve.
I wonder what their methodology is.
It's custard.
I had a Frosty the other night.
Yeah, those are okay.
Yeah. We were after the football game. My daughter's like, "You're giving me a ride home, right?" I'm like, "I guess now I am. It's not like it's far away." And then I'm like, "Do you want ice cream or something?" She's like, "Yeah, Frosty." I'm like, "All right,
Sold.
cool. Sold." Don't it? She got a vanilla Frosty though. I got
Oh,
chocolate.
they have vanilla?
Yeah, they have vanilla Frosties.
Can you get a swirl?
yeah.
Oh,
Life hack. So that's what I do when I go to Bunny's. I always get the swirl.
swirl it, swirl it,
Always
swirl
get
it.
the swirl because their vanilla custard so good. Their chocolate custard so good together. Oh. Yeah, it's like that. So I do have to announce one more game at Sandusky, and I'm going to take my P8. I'm going to load it up with good drops for football.
Yeah, like this one,
No,
because that's what you're going to get with a lot of Sandusky football this year.
well, maybe.
Did I say that out loud?
The game I'm doing, they have to play USA.
That might actually be a good game.
It'll be a toss up. So
How did they become this terrible?
So one of the things is it is a complete
New offense.
reversal in how they've ever played.
Yeah.
It's 5 decades of running the football, and you don't change a program like that overnight. And I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think it's a great offense. I think it's not. I want to say this as nice as possible. It is not an 11-man offense. There are a lot of flaws to it.
Do they complete a lot more passes now or no? Because I saw one game
it's
week
under
1.
50.
I saw week 1 against.
It's right
Newell.
about 50, but
Week 1 was probably about 30%, so that's better.
what they do is they throw a lot of short passes.
Little dinks and dunks.
Yeah, just little, tight end takes a step backwards and they throw it to him and it's almost a lateral.
Yeah.
And then he gets a yard. But then they also take a lot of shots way downfield that don't even come close. And young quarterback that, because he's been a quarterback that has been in running offenses all through his youth football, it takes a lot to get used to. And you can tell the line is not used to blocking for,
Dude, I used to love as an offensive lineman pass blocking. That's easy, man.
Yeah. But a huge difference from when you go where you threw the ball twice a game.
Right.
And you really didn't have to pass block at all. So anybody who's played before doesn't have a lot of experience with that. And that's all I see. If they can get it going, it's going to be a really fun offense to watch because they'll be slinging it. But my fear is at a school the size of Sandusky, you're not going to have the personnel to pull all that off.
Yeah, that's tough.
And Lakers way outsize them.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Sandusky's small. It was nice, though, to see, one of the things I was told is that the kids are having a blast.
Well, that's good. That's important.
And I'm used to going and seeing like 3-4 kids on the sideline at Sandusky. They had about 15 kids on the sideline.
So those are positives. Those are definitely positives.
So if the program can grow, all for it. All for it.
I was up at Lakers on Wednesday. Went to one of my son's soccer games. I haven't seen the new facility, but I drove up and didn't realize it was the high school because I'm like, that's a big new machine shed.
Yep.
I literally thought it's like
That place is it's huge.
right. It is massive, but I'm like,
What the dog doing?
it's like McConaughey's machine shed out here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure when they wanted to have it built, they're like, you get the best combine machine shed builder out here.
That's right. We're going to build a big old combine machine shed, but we're going to put a football field in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody probably along the way was like, well, an architect or something was like, well, I have a company that's really good at building these. They took their jobs. So, yeah, they brought in the local Kohler builders and had them do it up.
So that means it's still not finished?
Not completely.
Did I say that out loud?
No, I mean, it's a
Sandusky. It's a work in progress.
Yes.
We're still waiting on parts from so-and-so. Insert whatever.
So, it is a nice facility, though. I mean,
I haven't been inside. Have you been inside?
I have not been inside. I've talked to people who've been inside that have practiced and stuff up there. And they have mentioned that it's just fantastic because I know, they're pretty good about letting other schools use it, which is surprising because they're kind of a-holes. But like Ubley last year went up and used it getting ready for their state championship game.
Yeah.
And they let teams that were in the playoffs a few years ago during the COVID years when they were playing in January, they let them come in.
Dude, that was brutal. Thanks for bringing that up. I remember that. Like, I did a game. It was Cass City. I went to Cass City. It was January. It was fucking cold.
Yeah.
That's the coldest I ever remember doing a football game. But I loved it. It was beautiful. It was great.
The coldest I remember was it was the 8-man state championship over in Greenville.
Oh, yeah.
That one was cold. We were inside, but man, it was a long walk through their whole stadium thing there. And
That I've only been there once. That's a beautiful press box. It's all heated and everything, and
it's so long and
they
just plenty of room. And
they brought us food and we got stats. It was for a state final, Deckerville versus Powers North Central.
Have you ever been to River Rouge?
Have not been to River Rouge.
So, absolutely in the worst part of it's a block from all that big industrial,
Right.
Oil refinery, whatever the hell, whatever carcinogens they're making at that place. You're only a block from it. So you go down there, and we parked like way off, and it was me and Mickey. We parked way off. We get up there, and the guy's like, we're talking to him, and he goes, "You guys pulled up over here?" We're like, "Oh no, we're parked way back there." He's like, "Oh, you better go get your car now." And we're like,
Go get our car now.
he's like, "Yeah, just pull it in the fence here." So like inside the football stadium, and there's people all around. He's like, we're like, "Well, it's all right." He's like, No.
No.
He goes,
no.
He goes, "For one, you may make that walk out there and not have a car." He goes, "For two, you may not make that walk out there in this neighborhood."
Oh my God.
But absolutely the nicest people ever. Like,
Yeah.
they were so appreciative that we were there. They, they're like asking us, they're like, "Could you come back and cover other games?" We're like, "This is an over 2-hour drive for us."
This is a long ways, my friend.
And, but they fed us like some of the best ribs ever. And, they just come up with all this food. And they're like, "Help yourself. We got way too much. Help yourself." We're stuffed walking out of there. I'm glad we didn't have the half-mile walk that we had getting in there. And, but they were just extremely nice. There's a guy next to us, and he's giving us like the players' names that as they are running the ball and stuff. We didn't even have to look at the numbers. It was just awesome.
He had a nice spotter up there and everything.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic, and just everybody up there was great. But it's just a big one-room press box. But it's nice. It's got like 2 levels to it. Kind of like, is it, who am I thinking of that had a 2-level press box like that? Marlette? Is theirs double-decker like that? Like not like an upstairs and downstairs, but like a upper platform behind.
Yeah.
That's the way theirs was. And they gave us a prime spot right up front. A stat guy moved to the back. He's like, "Oh, this is a much better spot." But they're telling us, they're like, "Yeah, we played the whole season." They're in the state, they're in the quarterfinals. They had a phenomenal team. I mean, they kicked the shit out of Almont.
Yeah.
And they hadn't had any radio or nothing there the whole season.
What?
Yeah. So they're like undefeated. They're ranked like number 3 in the state. Beat the shit out of Almont that year. And no radio. We were the only press they had there all year.
That's what we really should look for the next
Iteration.
Yes, is to hitch on with a team. Like,
well, and not only to hitch on to a team, but you take like teams like Emily City, schools like Emily City, Almont.
right.
They don't really have coverage there because they're on the outskirts of Lapeer County.
Yeah.
Lapeer County has, Lapeer schools that they really concentrate on. They don't pay attention to Dryden, Almont, Emily City, that type of stuff.
They're kind of in that middle no man's
Almont's
land.
kind of
Yeah.
getting into that Macomb area, Armada, same thing. But the BWAC really gets kind of screwed. Other than Croslex, when we first started covering games there, nobody covered games there. Nobody. North Branch gets the shaft all the time.
Oh, they are so pissed about that they're no longer members of the TSA, and it's like,
Not a big loss.
but none of that made any sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense. They have teams all around them, but not them.
But yet, that press release that was gone out, I'm like, this makes no sense. Did you read it? It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
No, it was written very poorly, hastily, childishly. I don't know. I don't know what that situation was, but AI, please write me a note dissing North Branch without dissing North Branch. Doesn't that seem like
I had to ask, I'm like, what the fuck does this even mean? Like, it means North Branch is no longer part of the TSA. I'm like, you could have just fucking said that. Like,
yeah.
they don't let me play in their reindeer games. So even though I've been doing this is my 9th season, and I feel like I'm not included in anything. I really feel like an outsider at this point, which is sad because I think I've put in this prior to this, 8 years of
You don't need listeners like that.
pretty diligent and hard work that I put a lot of my effort into.
Well, you've taken your own equipment that you've
Yeah.
taken the initiative to buy.
Yep.
You've given a ton of yourself to it. And yeah, it's just one of those things that there is no appreciation. And, you know, when the TSA, I was there when the TSA first started, their first meetings, and it was so appreciative that I was there. You know, there was only like 6 of us that are there. And then more people started to join, and more people wanted more of a say. And then there was the arguments over, you know, well, we don't have enough people from Tuscola County for the Tuscola County paper. We need more people from here, and we want to include more schools. And everybody else is like, well, we don't see those schools at all.
Right.
And that they're kind of,
now it's just a bunch of slappies and cocksuckers. So
yeah.
you know what?
And I'm surprised that they
Glad
don't go
I'm
in
not
there.
part of it because I'm neither one of those things.
I'm surprised they don't go in there with a big board that says, well, this paper has, because that's what it's really focused on. The radio and everything doesn't matter. It's the Sand Lake County News, the Huron Daily Tribune, or the View, or whatever it is up there, and then the Tuscola Advertiser. Those 3 really control who
All of
gets
these
what.
mediums are dying.
Yes. Very
Dead.
much so.
They're dead. They're actually dead. We're actually poking at their rotting corpses right now. And I know that they get still money from advertisers somehow, maybe out of nostalgia.
Because we don't have a whole lot of other options around here.
Right. Well, maybe this is something to explore. What's the next generation? What's the next iteration? What's the next thing that should take place of all this? And I know, I get it. I get the romanticism of having a newspaper in your hands.
Well, when I'm sitting, you know, in my easy chair with a pipe, and I got a fire roaring in the fireplace we don't have, and I want to sit back with a cognac and my pipe and read something, I'm going to reach for that newspaper that I haven't had a subscription to since the late 90s.
And I'm not saying that, and we still have some very talented people around here writing articles for these papers.
Oh, we do.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that if you want to convince yourself that it's not dying, it is. And maybe that's what needs to happen is the next thing, the next iteration, the next thing. You have to change with the times. Media print is dead. And a lot of them do the online edition and everything like that. That's a step in the right direction.
It is, except this is the one thing I'll give you. It's a step in the right direction, but when you publish a weekly paper, everything that you're printing in that paper is days old, and we don't live in a days old type of, you know,
That's very
scenario.
true.
You know, there's a reason that you don't go call a football game and then release it on like the next Tuesday.
Yeah. Like, hey, well, all right, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. You can get these results on Tuesday.
So maybe that's part of it. Maybe I'm in the wrong, but I just feel like the whole, and I don't know how I got outcast in all of this. I really don't. Do you have any inkling of why that would have happened with me or anything I did? Is it because I didn't play the game? It's because I'm not a.
I think that that is a good part of it. Yes.
Okay.
When I stopped playing the game and I found things ridiculous, and I'm like, because I was very vocal about the first time that, you know, a new paper comes in and the first thing I hear is, well, we got to get rid of a couple guys from Sand Lake and Huron County to bring in more from Tuscola County. And I'm like, but they're not the best players.
Right.
But we did it anyways because they're like, well, there's no reason for us to do this because we're not going to sell much for papers. We need to have a couple guys that we can put their picture in, you know, on first team. And it's like, okay, but you've got Caro and Reese and Vassar who, you know, basically had nothing for wins and nobody that stood out. But I'll be damned if we didn't find 2 guys to put on first team from those schools.
There's a reason why the teams that are good have more players on these all whatever teams they are.
That's crazy talk because that's not how you sell a paper. See, this kind of sensibility, Phil,
Yeah.
is why people don't like you.
Plus big podcast.
Yeah, plus your affiliation with That's exactly the type of thing that big podcasts would push for.
They would say these are the things big podcasts would say. Yeah.
Big podcasts is out there being like, all right, what we need is more players from good teams, more good players.
Right. More good players. You want some? I know there isn't. I drank it all. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I got another one right here. I'm good, but thank you. I appreciate that.
So, yeah, that's the biggest reason that I kind of stopped doing that stuff was...
Well, and the crazy part is I continue to be hurt by this. Just hurt that I'm not... I do games every week. I show up. And
sometimes I feel that you give a shit about the wrong things.
Well, I just don't feel respected,
But respected by who? For me, I'd have to respect the people that I was looking for the respect from.
Right. Maybe there's part of it. Maybe that's part of it. And so
I'll be honest,
right.
I lost a ton of respect for everybody involved with that.
Right.
When it became about... And I still helped with it some. Like I went and did the All-Star game until I started to see the flaws and why and how they were doing that.
Right.
And just...
Well, and none of this is helping the case because I so desperately at this point want to quit doing it. Just because really I used to feel a purpose. I used to be purpose-driven. It used to be something I did not just to self-serve me, but because I felt like a lot of the stuff deserved coverage, and the kids deserved it, the teams deserved it, the parents deserved it, the families deserved it, and I'm not feeling that anymore. I'm really not.
Well,
I feel like nobody listens anymore too. So
there's so many options in here.
Right.
I mean, we have.
So I just hate to waste my time. I feel like I'm at a point, and this is not to say that covering these sports is a waste of time. I'm saying my personal time in my life, because you hit a point of your life where you realize your own mortality. I don't have a lot of time, and I have to really concentrate on what I'm giving that to for the rest of my life.
Well, and it was, like I say, it was different years ago. We were the only streaming option out there. The radio stations didn't stream. There was nobody else out there. And we would get tons of people. We'd get, every week you're getting 30, 40, 50 messages from people who are like, I'm here and I'm listening. I'm deployed and I'm listening. And, my little brother plays and I'm listening. And thanks for playing the band doing the national anthem because my sister's in the band,
Right.
That type of stuff. And so you get that feedback and it makes it feel worthwhile. But, I'm still part of all the feedback that comes through, and there's almost none. There's been one thing this season. It came through this last week. One thing. And that is a testament to how many different options people have.
And that's what I'm struggling with and dealing with and thinking about, and really, really struggling with it. Really, really having a hard time, especially with everything that went down with of course, who we know, won't mention a name, and all the stuff with TSA and everything. Like, why do I do this? Why should I be out here? But yet I feel like everybody wants me to be. Everybody wants, if I'm there or doing it or calling things or whatever. Oh yeah, we're happy to have you. Of course you are.
Yeah, because you're there for free.
Right.
And it's not costing anybody but you. And that was the other part that started to get to me was, people want you there and people act like they're really excited about it, but nobody is helping you with anything doing it. Nobody's paying for the data that you're using. Nobody's paying for the equipment that you need and the wear and tear on it.
And the mileage and the time and the everything.
Miles,
and
the time. And, people
and
don't
it's
realize...
not easy. And when I do things, and this, I don't ever half-ass anything. Any game I call, I'm going to put everything I have into it.
Yeah.
Any podcast we do.
Yeah, if you're going to half-ass stuff, it's in the prep.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Jesus. That's where you half-ass shit. But podcast, broadcast, radio shows, anything I do, I don't ever half-ass it. So, and what you get when you don't half-ass something is it expounds a lot of my energy.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's not easy to call a football game, a high school football game. It's not easy.
No.
It's not. I leave there feeling pretty tired most of the time when I do it.
It's a lot of energy, and let's face it, it's a long day for you because, unless you're doing a game here in Deckerville, you're probably driving at least 20 minutes one way.
Or more, yeah.
Games start at 7, which means that you're trying to get there no later than like 6:15.
I would say 5:45 to 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. And, because you're going out at 6:30 for pregame.
Yeah.
So you've got all that. Then you got to rush around and try and get stuff. How helpful are people usually in getting, there's very few schools where you walk in and they have sheets set out for you for the names and everything like that. You got to go get rosters. You got to get pronunciations. You got to do all that stuff. And it's a lot of work and prep to get going with it.
I'm tired already.
And that's part of why I was very at peace when I decided that I wasn't going to be doing it anymore. And, part of that was Mickey and I had been doing it for a lot of years together. And, he had his kids at home. My kids were getting into school.
Yeah.
And we're both just kind of like, man, we're throwing a lot of time out here that we're not making anything. And the powers that be didn't realize that, hey, we're not making anything. We're constantly trying to have us do separate games with other people so that we could get more coverage, which was pointless.
Right.
You spread something so thin that it don't do anything anymore. And that's also what was happening.
Well, I feel like I saw definitely a heyday of the TTS stuff. I would say about 2 to 4 years ago. And it lasted a couple of years. It was probably from my second year of doing it till probably about 2 through 5 or 6 years, maybe 7. But the last couple, I just feel it. And I feel like we're just a newspaper. We're print ads now. We're dying. It's dying. It's a dying medium.
I don't think it's a dying medium. I think that in the area, the ability to do that was given to everybody who wanted to do it. And you also had things like the MHSAA step in and say, all right, we're going to let the NFHS network come in and put these games on video. Well, if you have the choice of paying like $12 a month and seeing every game on video or listening to it, you're probably going to watch the game because, anybody who's going to stream it where they've got a solid enough internet connection to stream it is probably going to stream the video. And now the MHSAA, because of a lawsuit, has had to let several other video places come in because they sold it out to the NFHS, and now other places can do video. It's just become a big free for all. And it's not at all special anymore. There used to be something special about having a radio station come in.
There used to be. You're right. I remember.
And now it's like everybody just expects.
I remember even when I played, like if we got covered on the radio, you were flying high that night. Like, oh hell yeah.
Well, and the other thing that started to anger me was people that would get angry because you weren't covering the game they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And I got sick of that too. It's like, well, you thankless piece of shit. I'm just not going to cover anything. Take that.
Yeah.
So there was a good deal of that. So yeah.
Anyway,
people ruin shit.
What the dog doing?
But I digress.
Yeah, that should have digressed about 20 minutes ago, but
we got a lot out. This was a therapy session.
I kind of dumped out my purse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You got to do that every now and then.
Yeah. Sorry, it wasn't entertaining.
You dumped out your purse. You found that old piece of juicy fruit that was ripped into half, but still kind of in the foil.
Right.
And you ate it anyways.
Sure did.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
Big Podcast is going to be on my ass about this one.
Oh, so. Yeah. You failed Big Podcast.
Sorry.
They have been failed.
Sorry, boss. I promise to try harder next time.
Well, nobody expects anything out of you, so.
Right. Jackass.
All right, should we do this?
Yeah, we get out of here. I got to pee, and we got to eat this food.
Yes, that's what's killing me. I meant to stop 5 minutes ago before we started ranting.
And then we ranted more. All right. He's Adam Filkins. I'm Phil Nickel. Thank you to the Grumpy Gorilla for joining us. And thank thank you if you listen to this for this whole rant, and let us know your thoughts. Maybe I'd love to hear them. I don't get much feedback anymore from, well, anything or anyone. So like us, share us out on social medias. From the Palm Street Studios, which the Palm Street Studio Bowling team still in last place, but we're trying.
They're getting there.
We may not be coming, but we're breathing hard. So
You're going to hit your stride this week.
that's right. This is the week, Junior. This is all on you.
Junior's nuts gonna drop.
Right,
There you go.
He did better, but we'll talk about that also on the next episode.
Meanwhile,
That's right, because we'll maybe give Junior a call on the Thursday episode. But from all of us here at the Palm Street Studios, make good choices.